All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our webinar here. So my name is Raghav Jagannathan, and we are here to learn more about co-authoring capabilities that we offer for all our iManage customers, both on the iManage Work Server side, as well as on the iManage Cloud side, in terms of co-authoring Microsoft Office documents, either via live co-authoring from iManage in Teams, or through a synchronization option we call quick sync co-authoring within Teams. So before we get started, we just want to do a quick poll here just to kind of get your response on what are some of the key challenges that you guys are currently facing when it comes to co-authoring. And while you guys respond to that poll, I just want to quickly give you an overview of imDocShare and a little bit of history about the product. So imDocShare is a very popular product, especially with iManage Work Server customers and iManage Cloud customers who are looking to view, edit, sync, search, and provision iManage content within Microsoft Teams or SharePoint and OneDrive. We have a number of customers, AM law firms, mid-sized firms using imDocShare very successfully within their SharePoint environment, Teams environment, and OneDrive environment. In terms of a little bit of history, imDocShare software really started as a key integration software for helping iManage customers surface content from iManage live without necessarily copying that content in SharePoint. That's where our journey started. And since then, we've launched our imDocShare Teams app 3 years ago. And obviously, our co-authoring features that our Teams app offers is very popular. You can easily go to Google today, search for imDocShare 1 or simply iManage and Teams, and you'll see our app pop up right on the first page. And imDocShare 1, as you can see, is a very popular app, highly rated within the Microsoft Teams store. We're also the only Teams app that actually works with iManage Work Server. This is a very important point. If you're an iManage Work Server customer, especially Work 10 server customer, then we are the only approved Microsoft Teams app in Microsoft Teams Store that you can use to live view, live edit, live add, as well as co-author, provision, attach, synchronize content from your Work Server instance to Microsoft Teams or within Microsoft Teams. So jumping right in to our demo here, in terms of co-authoring, one of the key things that a lot of firms are looking for is an easy way for attorneys to collaborate on documents that live directly within iManage. As you know, iManage does not support shared checkout, meaning that an iManage user has a document checked out and it's exclusively checked out to them. So no two people can work on the same document unless you download the document, share it via Teams or some collaborative software where you can co-author the document, then upload it back. There's a lot of manual steps involved. So with imDocShare 1 Teams app, we solved that right away. And before I get into co-authoring, I just want to give you a little bit of a walkthrough of our Teams app and some of the key features it has beyond co-authoring, just for like a minute or so. So when you get the Teams app, or when you get your Teams admin to approve the imDocShare 1 Teams app for usage within a Microsoft Teams tenant, immediately you'll see the app appear under the apps part of your team. And when you click on the app, one of the things you'll notice is that the app opens up with two views. One view we call the personal view. The personal view gives you instant access to your iManage Work Server or iManage Cloud, favorite documents and workspaces, recent documents, all the recent documents that you're currently working on, or frankly, any workspaces that you're currently working on, matters, checked out documents with the ability to bulk check in documents right from within your personal app and Teams, as well as emails that you filed right within iManage. All the emails that you filed accessible right here in Teams. So the My Experience basically helps you get access to your content, my content, within iManage right here in Teams. And the other use case for imDocShare is to basically access iManage content, literally any content source. Could be a workspace, a folder, a category folder, a search folder, a subfolder, any content source from iManage. You can view that content right there in that particular team channel just by adding a tab to that and pointing it to that source in iManage. So prior to this demo, I set up a bunch of tabs here so that you can see and visualize how iManage content is being rendered in Teams. And a key thing to take away here is that none of this content that you see lives in Teams. So it's security trim based on who you are. Again, if you're using Microsoft Azure AD or SAML authentication, any authentication to do single sign-on in Teams and iManage, you have the ability to have a seamless experience, which means that I open Teams, and if these tabs are set up for me as an attorney, or I have the ability to set up the tabs, you can see it. You can live view iManage content from a workspace as if it's all here. But the content does not live in Teams, it still lives in iManage. So security, compliance, governance, everything is being applied. So you can only see the content that it allows to see in iManage, also in Teams. So we have many different types of view. We have what is called normal view, just saw. Also a really cool view called tree view that lets you visualize content from iManage, like how you see here, multiple sources from iManage. For example, a workspace, a folder, a subfolder, a category folder, a matter folder, all these different types of a tabbed folder, these different type folder types, you can visualize that through this amazing view called tree view. And so there are many ways to kind of slice and dice your content as opposed to just seeing a web browser view of iManage content in the tab. We let you add any source from iManage into the tab and also control the metadata properties that we also see here, so you can slice and dice it, filter it, sort by, and so on and so forth. So once you set up your view, your imDocShare app, basically at a team channel level, at a personal app level, in this case, the team channel level, let's dive right into our key use case today, why we're here for, which is co-authoring. So with the co-authoring option, you can simply go to any Office document that you want to co-author. For example, here I'm in this workspace called Legal 101 Contracts, and I simply click on that, and I see the documents and the folders as I would see in iManage right here in Teams. I'm going to pick on this document here called Training Register, and I have a couple of my colleagues who are on the webinar who are going to help me co-author this document. So straight up off the cuff, we're going to go ahead and click on the contextual menu here, and we're going to start co-authoring. And what this does is basically starts a co-authoring journey on the document for me, and I'll explain this in a second. There you go. And I'm going to go ahead and invite my two colleagues here, Helen and Mudassar, who are going to help me with the co-authoring process. So again, some of the common questions that I get asked when I do this demo is, okay, so can you invite co-authors, anybody on this outside of the document access in iManage? The answer is it depends on the imDocShare setting. So imDocShare has global settings that you can control through a software called imDocShare Admin, where you can control whether you can invite authors or contributors to the co-authoring process beyond the document security, which means that you can invite people who are possibly not allowed to see this document, but that's a global setting. Or if the global setting says, no, you cannot invite anybody beyond the document security, then you can only invite people who are allowed to see the document in iManage. So there are settings that you can override through a imDocShare global setting to possibly collaborate with authors beyond not just that document, but also beyond your organization boundary, again, depending on security settings that are within Microsoft 365. For example, some customers use this feature to co-author a document from iManage with their customer. So those are settings that we also support. Again, you have to understand the security implications of that. But again, if those are understood and ticked off by a security officer, you do have the ability to do that through our software, to have a live co-authoring journey done within your firm directly with the customer. But here I'm going to go ahead and start the co-authoring process. So I'll have one of my colleagues help me out here, Mudassar. So we'll see a live co-authoring happening on this PowerPoint presentation that I'm starting a co-authoring on. So I'm just going to say, let's co-author and add some slides. All right, so a couple of things will happen here. So the first step is immediately the document opens up for me, and because I started the co-authoring. But before we go into the co-authoring process, notice how the document has an icon. It says some few tooltips there, but more importantly, it's checked out to me. So the person who started the co-authoring, that document is now checked out to the person who started the co-authoring. And all the co-authors would have received an email stating that, hey, you've been invited to a co-authoring process. Please click here. Let me pull up that email just for you to preview that, right? Right there, right? Now, obviously, you cannot depend on an email, right? Because emails come and go, especially if you're a busy attorney, you're in and out of courts, and you've been invited to a co-authoring process. You can simply click on this icon that says My Co-authoring Documents. And what this does is basically gives me access, instant access to all the documents that I've been invited to co-author on. That could be a document that I got invited to co-author on, or that could be a document that I started a co-authoring process on. Either way, I can just simply click on the link and open the document. Now let's go back into a Microsoft PowerPoint and let's start co-authoring. So Mudassar, if you can jump onto the document and help me co-author this document, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and start editing this document. Right, add some slides here. All right, so basically what we're doing here is basically simply using Microsoft Office co-authoring capabilities. As my colleagues jump on into this document, you will see that the co-authoring process will be, just whatever the Microsoft Office offers. All right, so we'll wait for my colleagues to jump on here. I'll keep editing some updates. All right. Okay, so so you can see here my colleagues added some content there while we were co-authoring. So again, the idea here is that once the co-authoring journey is complete, emails fly around as needed. But most importantly, the person who started the co-authoring will have the option to stop the co-authoring. So here, let's assume that my co-authoring is over on the document. I'm just going to simply exit the document here. Yeah, right. So I can simply go ahead and stop the co-authoring. Now, a couple of things to note here. If I have co-authors working on the document, then it'll basically stop me from making sure that I can't just end the co-authoring. So it'll tell me, look, you have colleagues working on the document, please wait, or ask them to exit the document. So you don't accidentally override anybody's changes or reject anybody's changes. So a couple of things happen here. As soon as I stop co-authoring on this document, the document now gets checked in, and it automatically gets checked into, obviously, into iManage. It also updates the timeline of the document and the version history of the document. You saw it, and you guys noticed that the version went from 2 to 3, and multiple updates on the document got reflected and audited under the timeline of the document. Also, a couple of things to note here is that the document now doesn't have a lock, which means that the document is now checked in and it's free for anybody to go and consume. Right? So let's go and look at this document in iManage and see what happened. So we're just going to go and click on that little button there that opens up. In this instance, I'm using the cloud version of iManage, iManage Cloud. But anything that I'm showing you also applies to iManage Work Server on premises. So here I was looking at this particular document. I'm just going to go and preview it. And you will notice that all my changes that I made through my teams is all here, including my colleague's change that he made. All right. So I'm just going to exit this for a second. All right. So that's our live co-authoring option, where you can easily kind of go in, pick your Office document, has to be Office 2003 and above, literally click on Start Co-authoring, And so you can invite co-authors to collaborate with. Co-authors could be internal to the organization, could be external to the organization, again, depending on security settings and the settings within imDocShare, or even could be just the people who are allowed to see the document. And you can simply co-author that document using Microsoft Office Claim. And once the co-authoring is over, you can simply say stop co-authoring, which will be, automatically check that document back into iManage and update the timeline on the document and the version history. So let me show you that as well. So if I go into this document and simply click on timeline, notice how the detailed audits are being captured on what exactly happened on the document, on the timeline. And if I go to versions, at a versioning, basically will take care of telling me exactly what happened in the document as well. All right. So we'll come back to our document in a bit, but in terms of live co-authoring, that's the functionality we offer. I'm going to switch gears to some of our other use cases around offline co-authoring. Now, before I go into offline co-authoring, I just want you guys to do a quick poll on some of the key features that you would essentially consider as important for co-authoring, right? So from a use case perspective. So we're going to publish the poll. I'll pull the poll in a second. And so we'll let you guys respond. So meanwhile, while you guys do that, let me go ahead and show you or talk through our offline co-authoring use cases. So offline co-authoring is a lot of fun, especially if you have use cases where your documents are getting created in teams. So if you have users who live in teams or refuses to work outside of teams or creating content in teams, the question that often we get asked is, okay, so what do I do with these documents? How do I make sure that these documents are automatically being synchronized back to iManage? The same thing applies from an iManage perspective. The iManage content, the collaboration happens in iManage. Documents are obviously being created in iManage and saved in iManage. How do I make sure that I can seamlessly pull that into Teams, the Files tab, where my users actually want to live? So quick sync, unlike the live co-authoring option I showed you, with the live co-authoring, the document does not get copied into Teams. With the quick sync option, the document gets copied into Teams, but it synchronizes automatically with iManage. So let me show you what that means. So for the purpose of this demo, I'm going to go ahead and use this particular folder called co-author docs. This is a folder that's live in iManage. This lives directly in iManage. Couple of key features I want to show you before I show you the quick sync. You can see here there's a button called add new folder, new document, and so on. So we're going to use this, and you're going to see the power of imDocShare app, where you can not only view documents and edit documents from iManage in Teams, you can even create, again, depending on permission, you can create documents in iManage. You can create folders in iManage directly from within Teams by using the plus sign or by dragging and dropping your folders and files into Teams from your local machine or from Outlook email. Well, we're going to do all that fun stuff in a few seconds. So let's go ahead and set up a sync job. So what we are doing here is we're gonna say, look, I want to synchronize this content. We have this button here called Quick Sync. And what Quick Sync lets you do is we basically set up a sync job that lets you synchronize content from the co-author docs folder into my Teams Files tab. So the sync type I want to use bidirectional, so that we can do a bidirectional sync, which means that I have the ability to create content in Teams, which automatically gets copied into iManage, or vice versa, and so that the changes are getting synchronized in both directions. All right. So go ahead and create this. I created this folder called co-authoring in Teams. So I'm just going to select that, and we'll let it render. Now, basically, what we're doing here, we are setting a sync job, right? So, and we can control the sync frequency. You can say, look, it runs 30 seconds a min, which means that it gets into a cycle and it keeps running, right? So it's basically synchronizes, stops, again restarts. So it's kind of in an infinite loop, if you will. So, but you can control that. You can say, look, it runs every 1 hour or whatever. So it's just 30 seconds, or continuous running is not needed. All right. So we're going to go ahead and create a start sync. So what we've done just now is we've gone and created a sync job, and you can see a little icon pops up in that tab that tells me that, hey, a synchronization process is now underway. It's actually going to grab documents from here, and it's going to synchronize it back into Teams. Now, that takes a little bit of time, maybe a couple of seconds to a minute, because the first time run's always a little bit, it takes a few checks and balances for us to make sure that the synchronization process should run properly. But what we're going to do here, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to go into co-authoring folder, and we're now going to talk about or look at how you can create content in Teams that automatically then moves back or synchronizes back to iManage. So one of two ways you can create content in Teams. The one way is I can simply click on New and create a Word document. And I'm going to do that here. I'm just going to say wingtip. Simply create an empty document, and I'm just going to go ahead and start authoring this document. But what I'm going to also do is I'm going to quickly share this document with my colleague here. So remember, this is me co-authoring this document. I actually created this document in Teams, and I'm co-authoring this document in Teams. So this document does not live in iManage at this point, right? So I'm just going to say, let's co-author. And I'm going to send this email, all right? So, so basically what we're going to do here is start co-authoring this document. By the way, I don't have to use Microsoft Word Online. I can also use desktop, right? So just in Teams, when you open that, it would automatically open in Microsoft Word Online. So I'm just going to add some content here, test content. I'll have my colleagues join here. So you can see here is adding some content here. So this is like, we're not doing anything fancy here. This is just straight up co-authoring that we are doing using Microsoft Office toolset, right? So there's nothing fancy going on from an imDocShare perspective. All right, so we're going to finish this co-authoring. I'm just going to go close. Again, I could have done everything that I just did there directly within Microsoft Office client, right? So, but remember, I created this document in Teams, and I have this document. We co-authored this document. But now, as an attorney, I do not need to worry or care about whether this document will move into iManage or get synchronized with iManage, because there's a sync process that is running behind the scenes that will automatically synchronize this document for me with iManage. A couple of things that a question that often comes up is, okay, so what if we are working on a document and it's checked out in iManage? Can you edit in Teams? The answer is no. So if there's a checkout flag that is on a document that was previously synchronized with Teams, and that document is being currently worked on in iManage by somebody, you cannot change that in Teams. And similarly, if in this case, like the wingtip toys, both Mudassar and I were collaborating, co-authoring the document, and that document will not get synchronized into iManage till we all exit the document. It's called shared checkout and then check in. So checks and balances are in place from a synchronization perspective to make sure that you're not accidentally override other people's changes in iManage or Teams for that matter. Now, when synchronization happens, we are also doing version control, which means that we are making sure that wingtip toys in V1, if that was a document that was created in Teams and now being synchronized with iManage, and let's say in iManage we update the document and it gets synchronized back into Teams, very important to note that we create versions on both directions. So you're not losing your changes from your V1 as it goes to V2, because you can always revert back to V1. So I don't know if you guys saw that, but while I was talking, you saw that the synchronization process completed, because the first time run always takes a few seconds more. And you can see that the document from iManage real time came in here called FI24 Contoso, and my wingtip toys MSA V1 that we worked on would probably be synchronized into Teams, so that from Teams into iManage. So let's go and look at it. So we're going to go in here back to our folder where we came from, right here. Right, so we're going to go into our folder, which is co-author docs. And you can see here, under co-author docs, the document that Mudassar and I already created is already here. But let me show you in iManage in Work Web. So you can see here the documents right here, right? So I can always right click on that, preview it, and you would see that the document that he and I worked on in Teams is now available in iManage. And remember what I said before, now users, obviously your lawyers and attorneys can come in here, they can check out this document, open in Microsoft Office client, and they can work on it. But when they're doing that, the document will be locked in Teams so that accidental checkouts, check-in, and accidentally overriding each other's changes do not happen. So the synchronization process takes care of that. So that if something is checked out in iManage, it will not be allowed to be edited in Teams and vice versa. That ensures that the document atomicity is maintained and preserved. So that's our quick sync demo of how we think about quick sync from a offline co-authoring perspective. So you can start your co-authoring journey in Teams and automatically synchronize iManage, or you can start your journey in iManage, create the document, seamlessly synchronize it into the files tabs in Team, and then let your users collaborate in Teams, because that's where work happens. Now we have a couple of minutes left here. I just want to quickly highlight some other features of iManage that we surfaced right here in imDocShare. As I said before, you can create folders. Say, for example, I can create a folder here, right here from my Teams. I've created an empty folder in iManage. I can obviously create documents directly from within Teams in iManage. For example, I can simply click a new document and I can call it SOW draft and create a Word document. And just like that, I've created an empty document. I can profile documents, a live profiling of documents, including live metadata columns being populated, lookup columns from iManage here right here in Teams. I can easily profile the document, and now the document is now available as a blank document in iManage. Just let me show you that. Just click on that. There you go. The document's right there. All right. Some of the other things that we also ship within our software is the ability to pull documents where actual collaboration happens with this chat. So people are often talking to each other, they're chatting within the post, like a meeting post or a one-on-one chat and whatnot. And we believe that setting up a channel tab doesn't really cut it, because people don't think that way. So the idea would be to kind of automatically reference documents from iManage right here in Teams using our imDocShare 1 extension. So it automatically opens a recent view or favorite views, because most of my content that I work on is right here in my recent view. I can also go and search for my content, go through my workspace and folders and subfolders, and really find that document I'm looking for. I can also use a search interface to do that exact same search that you're used to in iManage, or I can simply insert from my recent view, a card that I can then share my iManage content with my colleagues, just the way it's shown here. Right. Some of the other compliance features we ship in imDocShare is also the ability to save messages into iManage. You can simply right-click on a message in Teams, and you can save that message into iManage, including attachments from a compliance and governance perspective. All right. So I'm going to pause for a second. Thank you so much for listening in. We're going to take some questions. If you guys have any, feel free to type in your Q&A so we can answer those questions that you may have. I already see a bunch of questions here that are coming in. So one of the first questions here is if I invite an external client, will they also require a Microsoft Office subscription or license? It was answered by our staff here. The answer is it depends, right? Yes was our answer, which is correct, but it also depends. For example, there are external sharing techniques that you can actually use through a technique called Microsoft Azure B2B, where you can invite an external party to share and contribute your content within your organization, and that person need not have a Microsoft 365 license. But those scenarios we can certainly discuss with you one-on-one. Feel free to reach out to us. There'll be an email that'll be sent to you with a link that you can contact us via. The next question here is, when you're co-authoring, is there a symbol pop-up that indicates somebody is in the same area as you? Yes, there is, right? So for example, when you're co-authoring a document, if I go back here, the document itself will be locked. There'll be a lock icon, and there'll be this little people icon that you may or may not have seen it, but it shows that it's being co-authored. And the way you keep track of all the co-authored documents that you've been invited to or you started co-authoring on is by simply clicking on My Co-authoring Documents. This icon just appears automatically, where you can just click on it. It'll show you all the co-authoring journey that you're part of or you've been invited to. In terms of the next question is, do you have iManage web access for the whole organization? No, you do not. So if you have iManage work client deployed, it had the caveat here is it has to be work 10 client or above. It cannot be the older version of file-side worksite. So you can have work web or work client. If you have work client, the integration becomes even rock solid, because now with work client integration, you can simply click on a document and it automatically checks out from iManage, assuming you have checkout access and right privileges, and opens up directly in Microsoft Word or Excel or PowerPoint. You can edit it, close it, automatically checks it back in. So with work client tight integration, you do not need work web, but we see a lot of firms using work web. I'm conscious of time here. Thank you so much for all your amazing questions and your attention. Please feel free to reach out to us. We'll be sending an email to you shortly, just as a follow-up and a way for you to contact us. But thank you so much for attending the webinar. Have a great day. Thank you.